Our fifth and final contestant this evening, David Evans. Happiness. Happiness, David Evans.
Please raise your hand if a person or a circumstance has made you unhappy. Has anything happened to anyone here? Tonight, I am going to tell you a secret. No person or circumstance has the power to make you unhappy. You have the power to choose your attitude under any set of circumstances. For most of my life, I did not know I had this power. As a matter of fact, I knew the opposite was true. I knew people and circumstances had the power to make me unhappy. It happened all the time. As a child, I was constantly reminded of how ugly and stupid I was. Starting in first grade, the other children told me not to come near them or touch them, because if I did, they would become a wart like me. I once had a teacher announce to the entire classroom, "David, I don't know what grade to give you. There is no grade lower than F." I had one bright spot in my life, and that was my mother. When I had a bad day, we would talk, and I would feel better. Then, on Easter Sunday morning, when I was only 10 years old, my mother died a horrible, painful death from neurofibromatosis. She spent the last 2 years of her life in agony. I went to my father looking for moral support, but all he said was, "Life is tough, and then you die." I want you to imagine, think back when you were 10 years old. Can you think back that far? And picture yourself having this genetic disorder that's causing tumors to grow all over your body, literally head to toe. And now your mother dies from that same disorder. Can you feel my devastation? Probably the only reason I didn't kill myself, I wasn't smart enough to think about it. Like my mother, I have neurofibromatosis. Neurofibromatosis, or NF for short, is a genetic disorder. It causes tumors to grow anywhere in or on the body. It can also cause severe pain, deafness, blindness, cancer, and death. There's only one certainty with NF. It only becomes worse. Several years ago, it started to be painful when I used hairspray. Some individuals with NF have such great pain in their fingertips, they cannot touch anything. And that may be my future. However, I stand before you this evening a happy man. My mother died from NF at 38. My sister died from NF at 48. I have reached a great age of 60. I am thrilled to be here this evening. In addition, I have found the key to happiness. Happiness does not come from fame or fortune. Think of all the wealthy and famous people who have committed suicide or have ruined their lives through the use of alcohol and drugs. These people had it all and were not happy. Happiness comes from within ourselves. Happiness comes from our thoughts about life, about other people, and about ourselves. Happiness comes from our thoughts about circumstances, not the circumstances themselves. Imagine you're driving down a highway and someone cuts you off forcing you to jam on the brakes. Has this ever happened to anyone? If it hasn't happened to you, go drive in Chicago. It will happen. I guarantee it. Now, when this happens, you could become angry. Reasonable. Or you could be thankful that you were able to avoid this accident. Your attitude is up to you. It is not up to the person who cuts you off. I learned this from a fascinating book, Man's Search for Meaning. This book changed my life. This book was by Dr. Viktor Frankl, a Jewish psychiatrist who spent more than 3 years in Jewish concentration camps as a prisoner. Even under these most deplorable conditions imaginable, some prisoners were able to choose their attitude. These prisoners were even able to encourage their fellow prisoners. They were able to do this because they found a meaning to life. They realized that each of us is created by God Himself. That each of us is unique in the universe. Each of us is created for a special purpose. A purpose only you can fulfill. Your purpose may be to suffer. Your unique opportunity may be the way you bear your suffering. When you realize that you are created for a special purpose by God Himself, you will have the power to choose your attitude under any set of circumstances. Let your choice be happiness. And